Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, and there's a story here where the Tories are saying that this election could what they call be the season finale to the independence debate. And I have a feeling that they're probably right, but not because of voting Tory will help this or voting anything will help it. It's all to do, of course, with whoever you have to vote for. This is the one election where the right vote makes the difference because you're not voting for anyone. This is the only election in probably living memory where you can destroy a party entirely by voting against it. And if everyone who opposes the SNP just votes the right way, looks to see who's most likely to take them out in their constituency, and for one election only, we can eradicate them forever. And with it, that independence nightmare. And the Tories are on it. But of course, the Tories are saying, if you vote Tory, it'll happen. Sure, in a Tory seat or where Tories are in second. If you're in a Labour seat or where Labour are second, you've got to vote Labour. If you're in a Lib Dem seat or where Lib Dems are second, you've got to vote Lib Dem. One election where you vote against, not for. But we can eradicate them. This could be the season finale. Let's take a look. So, election could be the season finale to independence debate, Scottish Tories say. But as I say, they may be saying it, but it is something that could happen, regardless of which party you support. Because if you support a party other than the SNP, for one election, vote tactically, we can defeat them. Now, before we get into this, I will just ask that you do hit the subscribe button, press the like button, and go and check out the other channel. There's only a couple of videos on there at the moment. It's still new. We're aiming to get to the 1,000 subscribers. We're close. We're only about 150 all away, I believe. And so it'd be nice to get that up and over. And that channel, of course, is David Coulter, Holyrood 2026. I will put a link below. Go across if you're yet to subscribe. Subscribe. I'm going to be putting a couple of videos up a week. Just to maintain the sort of the flow, and also to let you know what's happening on this particular journey and what we're doing about it. So yeah, please do that. Anyway, the Scottish Conservatives warned that voting for anyone else in key marginals would only help the SNP win. Yes, they're right. They're 100% right. But those key marginals are the ones where it's either currently a Tory seat or it's where the Tories are in the second position. And of course, we're looking basically the borders and the northeast. The big cities, forget it. Labour have got that more or less tied up. But if you are in those areas, and especially and the golden goose, the best seat of all, is Aberdeen South, where of course Beryl is, Stephen Flynn. Take him out. That is the biggest nugget of all. That is the biggest diamond of the night. If you can get Stephen Flynn out. So tactical voting, please. I don't care what party you support. I don't care what your politics are. So long as you're anti-SNP, vote the right way. Get Flynn out. Anyway, Thursday's general election. TikTok, very close now, is an opportunity to draw a permanent line under the Scottish independence debate, a senior Scottish Conservative has said. And I agree, as we say. With his party's election campaign entering its final days, party chairman Craig Hoy said voting for the Conservatives in key seats, where the party is going toe-to-toe with the SNP, could finish off any hope the SNP have of seeking independence, and indeed could finish off entirely the SNP, which would be a good thing. And now, of course, is the point where, if you need to hit that like button, is where you hit that like button. He said this would enable the country to focus on things that really matter, such as healthcare and roads. There are so many things. We did a video, I think it was yesterday, possibly the day before, where there were the top 5 things that people found important. Number 1, healthcare. Number 1 was healthcare. Boom. Number 2, the economy. Number 3, what we call generally transport, but that was things like roads, ferries, trains, etc. Independence was 5th. In fact, independence wasn't even first among SNP voters. And so all this independence push that the SNP have been doing is, well, the word I'm looking for is bollocks, isn't it? It really is. Anyway, Hoy went on. He said, this general election in Scotland is a huge opportunity to beat the SNP so that all the focus can finally be on the things that really matter, such as faster GP appointments and fixing the roads. If voters back the Scottish Conservatives in key seats where we are going toe-to-toe with the Nationalists, it could be the season finale of the SNP's bid for independence. He says we could finish off any hope the SNP have of seeking independence and draw a permanent line under the debate that has divided Scotland for more than a decade, for nearly 100 years. Ever since the SNP was set up, 90 years ago, that's all they've done is division, division, division. There's no respect, no bond, camaraderie. No, we're all Scots, and that's, regardless of our different points of view, etc. It's just been that division the whole time. Because they are basically losers. They've lost every time. They can't have it. They can never win. And in today's world, the worst thing they could do is independence. We all know this. Anyway, he said Thursday's votes is the best chance yet to beat the SNP, but we need to make sure we seize it by voting the Scottish Tories in those key seats. Absolutely agree, 100%, and I'm sure all of you agree if you're up for the tactical voting stance. Yes, I know you may be Labour, you may be Lib Dem. I don't care. Look to see who's second. Hold your nose. Vote that way. One election. Eradicate the SNP. And it's the same, even if you reform. This is not in Scotland. England, yeah, if you're in England and watch this, fine. Yeah, vote reform. No problem at all. Go. Reform. Doesn't matter. It won't change anything in England. If you're in Scotland, don't waste a vote. You've got to say... And I like reform, let's be honest, but don't waste a vote in Scotland. Reform are going to do nothing. In Scotland, if you're thinking reform, you've got to go Tory. And so, if you're a Tory voter, don't throw your vote away on reform because of a protest. Look and see who it is. You may be you may be a Tory who's gone to reform, but if it's Labour is the only chance to get the SNP out, hold your nose, vote Labour. Don't care. This is not the election to put someone in. This is the election to get people out. One election, move on next time. It's the only way. I mean, it doesn't make any difference. It's going to be a Labour government, whatever you do. So make the votes count. Anyway, he says, warning for anyone in key seats such as Reform would only help the SNP. Literally what I've just said. He says, even a few votes for another party such as Reform could help the SNP to win. Don't let them win by default. South of the border, vote Reform all you like. North of the border, don't. Sorry, Reform, but we've got to get the SNP out rather than getting anyone in. SNP candidate for West Aberdeenshire and Kincardine, Glenn Reynolds, said the only thing that will be finished come Thursday are the Tories. They deserve the democratic drubbing that comes their way after 14 years of Westminster imposed austerity, Brexit and the cost of living crisis. I'm going to suggest that SNP candidate for West Aberdeenshire and Kincardine, Glenn Reynolds, will not get in. Anyone in the sort of greater Aberdeenshire area needs to look and think, which is more important? Some tossers with a yellow rosette, or the economic well-being of me, my family, my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, generations to come, the economic wealth of the region, the standards of living, or some, transient tosspot with a yellow rosette who goes, please, 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 give me this. I need to earn that money off the public teat. No, your family comes first. Vote Tory in the oil-rich North East. They're the only party standing up for you. Rest of you, Labour. I mean, honestly, Glasgow, you've got to vote Labour in Glasgow. Whoever you are, vote Labour. If you're a Tory in Glasgow, vote Labour. Get them in because it gets the SNP out. See, I'm fair. I'm fair to you all. Anyway, he says, on Thursday, the result of the election in England is already a foregone conclusion. So Keir Starmer is going to be the next Prime Minister. Brackets, for a few weeks. Close brackets. The only story left in this election is Scotland, where it's hotly contested between the SNP and the Labour Party. It is only SNP voices in the House of Commons, he said, that will hold a Labour government to account and ensure Scotland's voice is heard. Yeah, let's hope that there aren't any SNP voices in Parliament. And that way, Scotland can recover from 17 years of torture. Coming up. I think Thursday is D-Day. Thursday is the day in which Scotland sends a message to the SNP that they are both unloved and unwanted, and that they are destined for extinction. Change is happening. Change is frightening, but to eradicate a disease is a good thing. And for the people of Scotland, the SNP is just that. It is something that is malign and that harms people of all ages, of all classes, of all geographical locations. Not one aspect of your life has been made better by this bunch. You know what to do. Thanks very much. I'll stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, and I will speak to you later. Bye.